The question says that show that these are the points ABCD whose coordinates are mentioned are the vertices of a parallelogram. So what we can do, let's say if I make a parallelogram and I name these coordinates in order, that is A, B, C, and D. The coordinates of A is mentioned as -1, 0, B is 3, 1, and C is 2, 2, and D is -2, 1. Now we have two ways by which we can prove that these are the coordinates of parallelogram. Now the first thing that we can do here is to prove that the diagonals of these parallelogram bisect each other. Let's say this being the diagonals. And if I make the other diagonal, and let's say this is point P here. Now what we can do here, we can find out the midpoint of AC and BD. And if the midpoint of AC and BD coincides, then we'll say these are the vertices of parallelogram. The other way, which should be difficult lengthy, will be that proving their opposite sides equal. I will go for showing that the diagonals of AC and BD bisect each other. So we'll start with, let's say if I find out the midpoint of AC. So we know that for midpoint, the formula is x1 plus x2 upon 2 and its y coordinate. That's a special case of section formula when the ratio is 1:1. So if I find the midpoint of AC here and say I take xy as the midpoint of AC, this is x1 plus x2 upon 2, that is -1 plus 2 over 2. And similarly, y1 plus y2 upon 2, so that is 0 plus 2 upon 2. So we'll get this as -1 plus 2 is 1, so 1 over 2. And this is 0 plus 2 is 2, 2 divided by 2 is 1. Now, similarly, if I get the midpoint of, now I'm going to get the midpoint of BD. Now check here for BD, again, I'm going to apply the same thing, that is x1 plus x2 upon 2 and y1 plus y2 upon 2. So x1 plus x2, that is minus, say, or you can write in any order, doesn't make difference. So this is x1 plus x2 upon 2, and its y coordinate is sum of these two, that is 1 plus 1 divided by 2. So what we get from here, this is 3 minus 2, which is 1. So that is 1 by 2, and this is 2 by 2, which is 1. So what you can see here that you can see from here that we have the same, the midpoints of AC and BD are same, right? So you'll say that since diagonals, you can write since diagonals of parallelogram, diagonals of this quadrilateral, not parallelogram as of now, since the diagonals of this parallelogram bisect each other, therefore, these coordinates are these are the coordinates of parallelogram. Thus, we have to mention, you may write down that the midpoints of AC and BD coincide.